Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports.
When it comes to Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men, we will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
Coach Elko's my guy, right? Like, I love him. I love Michael Early. Like, I think Bucky's going to be incredible.
It's football, man. And that's what Warriors do. They don't want to sit out.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
Well. 4-0 for the first time since Kevin Sumlin was the head coach at Texas A&M. I know what you're thinking. You wanted to talk about November, but we're going to talk about the right now.
Yeah, right now, Nuño.
Hey, I've become, I believe. And also that was part of my thinking yesterday on Luchador. Like, let's enjoy the moment.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I got so many text messages from people like not sure how to enjoy that victory. Like man, I'm glad we won, but like, dude, that wasn't an inspiring effort. Was Notre Dame inspiring? Because it was for me. Was the defense finally showing you what a Mike Elko defense can be? That to me is a sign of. How about the different ways this team can win? They can run. They can play defense. They can throw. They can get Mario Craver his yards. Oh, by the way, when you double up on him, what does Casey Concepcion do? So, to me, I understand the penalties. I'm talking a lot, OBL.
I'm with you.
I understand the penalties, and I understand the offense not looking great. All these things that worry you, and that can cost you a game. It can. Guess what? It didn't.
It didn't. And, you know, there's the old adage that the mark of a good team is one that can win despite not playing well. Well, then A&M fits the criteria. The Aggies did everything. We talked about it last week. What does A&M have to do to lose? You know, what do you do as a favorite to lose a game? Well, let's see. You're going to have a big turnover or two. You're going to miss field goals. You're going to have a lot of penalties, and that's going to nullify big plays. And A&M did all that and still won. Why? Because the defense that had been, if not maligned, at least questioned a lot, came through and was spectacular. I thought Torian York had his best day as an Aggie.
Yeah.
Mike Elko may have had his best day as a defensive coordinator, even though he doesn't have that title. It was amazing the job that the defense did to help A&M overcome its own issues. That win could have been easily 31-3. And it was A&M's own mistakes that prevented that from happening. Now, I understand then some of the angst too, because I always say, look at the game through the lens of can that win an SEC championship? You cannot win an SEC championship. You may not beat Mississippi State if you're going to have ridiculous penalties. Now, maybe some more ticky-tack, and keep this in mind. There were two really big games in the SEC last week, right? There was Alabama and Georgia, LSU and Ole Miss. There were some other big games. As they start, you're going to put your best, I guarantee you the conference is going to put their best officiating crew on Alabama and Miami. I mean, Alabama and Georgia.
Sure,
They're going to put another one on LSU and Ole Miss. You probably got one of the cut rate officiating crews. And in the SEC, that's pretty alarming.
Right.
Because when you get down, the SEC officiating is so poor anyway that Greg Sankey will do nothing about. But anyway, it's so poor. So when you start getting down the pecking order, you're really you really got brand X out there.
Sure.
So maybe some of those official calls were bad, but you've got to adjust. It's like baseball. If the umpire's calling that outside pitch a strike, you're going to have to start swinging at it. So you had to adjust to the way the officials were calling. They weren't. So anyway, through the lens of can you win an SEC championship? You're not going to win an SEC championship, and you may not beat Mississippi State with those many penalties. I'll say it. The pass on third and one, that was a bad call. That was a needless call to a low percentage where something could go wrong when you got Le'Veon Moss. So call a game smarter through the lens of, can that win an SEC championship? I don't know.
Let me interject on that play. I actually asked a couple football minds about it. I told you when it happened, I would have run the ball. I'd take my chances with Le'Veon because I think it's safe and you get points.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A couple people I talked to that know football, and I'm not saying that they're right. I'm telling you, they told me that's actually a safe play. It ended up not being a safe play, but they told me typically that's a safe play, and if you catch it, you might break one for a touchdown.
You know what's safe? Giving the ball to Le'Veon Moss. That's safe.
Yeah.
But on 3rd and 1.
No, you say, can that win an SEC championship game? The way they played on Saturday, no. But the way they've played 4 games this year, if you look at it all, and that's why I go back to the different ways that they play football, to me, that can. I don't know if they will by any stretch because, who's good in the SEC?
The A&M. That defense can win a national championship if you play that defense every game. Now, you're going to play better offenses than Auburn.
But I don't know if you're going to play better wide receivers.
Well, good or not. You might play some that are good. And if you do play some that are better, you're probably playing Ohio State in the national championship game, right? So the defense was spectacular. As we said, the offense, which we know has spectacular capabilities and has demonstrated over and over, just didn't play to the level.
Can we
of
play the what-if game, though?
Yeah,
Just for a moment. Just humor me. You make one of those field goals that you missed, okay? You don't go for it on 3rd and 1 the way you went for it, okay?
Well, if you make one of those field goals, you definitely don't throw that pass.
Well, there you go.
Because then you kick a field goal and you're up 19-3 and they got to score.
You don't get those drive-killing penalties, which, by the way, happen in every game. But there's a few. Le'Veon would break one for 25.
This was a pandemic.
Yes. Yeah. All right. People were wearing masks, and they were face masks and mask under that. All right. So you had that going on. You also had a touchdown pass that was called back when we were on the field. We're like, all right, game's over. Oh, it's not over. So how different would we feel about the offense if that touchdown counts and you don't miss both field goals?
I still think we would have been saying, the offense didn't. If you get that touchdown pass and both field goals,
one of those field goals,
or one of those field goals, well, then you
win 26-10.
Yeah, you're feeling
26-3 actually.
Actually, yeah. And again, if you get one of those early field goals, then you're probably kicking a field goal because you didn't have that.
Right.
So you're probably in the 30s.
So you're feeling good.
So you're feeling really good, but that's why that's the point.
That's the point.
You didn't. You had a chance to erase all angst and just annihilate Auburn. And so now, look, we know what this team is capable of, and we see what it's even more capable of because what the defense does.
Yep.
It's not. There's no reason to panic. I'm just saying I'm looking through it through the lens of, can that win a championship? In defense, it can. Nationally, A&M gets dismissed. I know they went up to number 6, which another thing I hate at number 6, but we'll get into that at another time. But
6 or 7.
But now it's not. They won a lackluster. They got a lackluster win over Auburn. How good are they really? Yeah, the defense was great, but this and by the way, Marcel's Heisman campaign now takes a step back. People they were starting to talk to him about him, and now it's going to be, even though his numbers really in that game weren't that much different than, say, the guy at Oklahoma, John Mateer.
Yeah.
There's always a reason nationally it seems like, to just dismiss what A&M accomplished a little bit. I heard Dari Noga, is that his name?
Dari Noka
on radio yesterday with a guy we like, Philpott.
Oh, Roy Philpott.
And he said something like, A&M doesn't have an impressive win. And so, wait a minute, going to Notre Dame, I think he said, but not in the SEC. And yet the same guy, who, by the way, went to Oklahoma, was talking about what an impressive win Oklahoma had over Auburn, the same team. Right? So I'm just saying, from a national aspect, and that matters, because when comes time for...
But you know what? If they just keep winning
just keep winning. But play better.
Yes.
And smarter.
And I would much rather have this show on a Monday talking about how many mistakes Texas A&M had and won.
Yes.
This feels better than the alternative. Playing amazing and losing sucks.
Don't get me wrong. I'm very excited and optimistic about this team, and very bullish and all those things. And I think a championship is very much not just a possibility, but realistic. It's very realistic. What I'm going to talk about is if you wonder why some of the people who are talking to you are concerned, this is why.
I get it. But now let's talk about levels of concern. See how I want to phrase this. It is all about winning a national championship and getting to the SEC championship. I recognize that. But I wonder how many people who are now biting their nails about all the mistakes that they saw really thought that A&M had a chance to win an SEC championship. You did, right? You thought they had a chance.
I've always said this is the year because look at all the experience on the offensive line and so on and so forth.
I came into this season thinking a 9-3 year would be a step in the right direction. Now looking at next year's schedule, I want 10-2. But okay,
12-0.
12. That's really what I.
That's
if
what I
you're
want.
asking me what I really
Yeah, I
want.
know.
That's what I
What you really,
16
really
or no
want.
would be great, right? Like the 72 Dolphins. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Okay, perfection. But no, what we saw on Saturday will not win you an SEC championship game. It may not win against Mississippi State next week.
Right. It probably wouldn't.
But are they getting better?
Yes.
Okay.
And here's the thing, all right? Here's the other part, of the other side of what, I went on this, why I understand the angst. Every team, it seems like, now, in college football now, in the last, sometimes they go undefeated, but even undefeated teams, now, if you'll look, national champions have a game or two that they don't play well.
Yeah.
They Ohio State last year loses to Michigan, right? So you can always go back and find a team that won a national championship that either lost a game or had one that they just had to pull out of the fire. Or how'd they win that one? Or, man, they got off the hook. So in the course of a season, those things are going to happen. In fact, I was talking to my son, who was all distraught because LSU lost. And I'm trying to make him feel better. I said, son, nobody goes undefeated anymore.
No.
To go out and make all those mistakes and still win.
And by the way, people say how bad Auburn is. Okay.
They're not bad.
Well, remember what the argument was about Notre Dame. Notre Dame has lost to 2 top 10 teams by a total of 6 points.
And people are saying, well, they shouldn't even be ranked. And yet, at the same time, they would have taken teams that won 2 games over nobody's. Oh, look, that's a break. Yeah.
And now you look at Auburn, they're the same story as Notre Dame. Now, I think Notre Dame's better than Auburn, don't get me wrong. But
well, see, that's what I was touching on. A week ago, the narrative was what a big win for Oklahoma against a really good Auburn team. Mm-hmm. Was it not? Am I just making that up?
That was the
I mean, that was SEC now.
And they got away with one.
Oh, yeah, And it didn't matter that one of the touchdowns shouldn't have counted because Oklahoma still, what a big win. Yeah. And then A&M beats them. And it's like, well I think Auburn's not that good anymore.
Yeah, and look, I'm not saying their offense is good. Obviously, they're in the last 2 games, they've been horrific from 3rd and 4th down. And we can get into it from A&M's perspective. But
horrific because A&M just beat their ass at the line of scrimmage.
That's the same wide receiver, one of the wide receivers that torched you a year ago. And I'm sorry, I still think, as bad as Jackson Arnold was, he's better than Peyton Thorne. Peyton Thorne was actually worse at Kyle Field 2 years ago. It was worse. He threw for 89 yards.
I was so proud of what A&M did in the way they took Jackson Arnold's running threat away. They didn't just minimize it. They neutralized it. They destroyed it. He had, as I recall, one long run, and it was brought back on an egregious holding penalty. So, that's what I worried about most going into that game. Plus, you're in the SEC, you're going to be able to complete a long pass to something. And they got one, and it was almost intercepted. Some would say it was. But the job they did on Cam Coleman was... By
the way, that pass, I've watched that replay a couple times. I don't see the pick, but the way Will Lee looked at it, like the way he reacted, like, I don't know if my eyes are trained enough, I guess is what I'm saying.
Here's what... Will Lee had his hand underneath the ball, all right? We'll look at it when we're off air. And you can make a very strong case that it's an interception. The kid, was it Singleton?
Yeah.
Wraps his arms around it still looked like if it was a fumble, Willie has it, but it's close enough to look like dual possession. Go back to the Ja'Day Walker catch against Norwood versus Missouri last year, and it was kind of very similar.
Okay.
Dual possession goes to the offense.
Well, was that their pretty much only explosive play?
Yeah, it was their only one. It was the only play over 20 yards.
So on the other side, we got to get into the turning point, which I don't know if there's a real turning point.
I know what it was.
Okay. We'll get to the turning point, and we will also, I want to talk a little bit about like some of the questions we had about this A&M team entering the season after week 1, after week 2, week 3, and where we are answering some of those questions now on the other side. By the way, this particular show, the entire show, the 3-hour show that we are.
TexAgs Live, you mean?
Yeah, presented by a gem of a human.
Yeah, that'd be David Gardner, David Gardner's Jewelers.
Yeah, we are in the Rollo Insurance Studio.
Jason Jackson, Morgan, and the boys.
Yeah, and the whole gang.
The whole gang. Keith, everybody.
This hour, we feel so strongly about it, the odd couple that we are.
It's the go hour.
We call it go because we like to go. If you notice, we're 16 minutes into the show. We just said the name of the show because we like to go.
Go.
All right? And
brought to you by the Warehouse of
thank
CC
you.
Creations.
Yeah, go get yourself a TexAgs shirt. I saw some people wearing those today, this
nice.
weekend at Kyle Field. Also, we are currently hanging out in a place that we call the
Holistic Planning Cool Zone.
How cool is it?
It's really cool, especially today. It's always cool, but it's especially cool after a big win.
And if you want to call the show, and we'll take those calls in this next time. If you want, we'll get you in.
Yeah, heck yeah.
What number will they call?
Well, you're going to call the Buffy's Catering. We like Buffy. Oh, Buffy's good dude. Buffy's Catering and Bartending Hotline at
979-693-1150. Let's go around the room, left to right, to say hi to the people. Behind the glass is my dear friend, Nick Savage. Nick, good morning, buddy.
Howdy, good morning, y'all.
Hello, sir.
Hey, well, all that game showed me is, I don't know if y'all remember on Friday, I said I was expecting a shootout, and that's what I'm going to expect until the A&M defense proves me otherwise. They did just that on Saturday, and they showed that, again, it was sloppy, I get it, but they can win that type of game too, right? They can win the shootout. They can win the defensive struggle. And I feel like that's a good omen for the rest of the season because good teams find ways to win in multiple different kind of games.
Hey, that's 2 games where you came from behind to beat Notre Dame on the road, and then you didn't play well at home and still found a way to win it. And you did it one time with great offense, clutch offense, explosive offense, and then you did another time with shutdown defense. It wasn't a shootout. Could have been a shutout if not for a couple of penalties. And so, yeah, to Nick's point, you don't have to have the same formula to win every game.
Yeah, and shout out to the coaching staff. Great job coaching.
Except for that 3rd and 1.
Yeah, I didn't love the play call.
No.
I would have rather given it to Le'Veon because I think it's just safe. But
and we were
and he's good, by the way. He's really good.
Yeah, we would have even, but that's not Monday morning quarterbacking. I think we were talking about that during the process of the play.
Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Ella Ryan is there. Hello, Ella.
Hi, David. How are you doing?
I'm okay. What's going on with you?
Nothing much. Just a good weekend for the Ags overall.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, our Texas volleyball team, this ranked 13, and they kept rolling on Friday night, and they swept Vanderbilt at Reed Arena for their 5th straight win and their 2nd win in conference play. And it's also drew the 3rd largest crowd in program history with 4,666 fans.
That's great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it would be a big crowd. I felt it.
Yeah, well, look, they're good. They deserve to be recognized. In fact, you go watch them. I haven't been there yet, but I've watched them on TV last year, and I was really entertained by the first of all the game, but the way they played it.
Well, my daughter Isla went with her dear friend Brooke to the volleyball game on Friday. Got to watch that, and then on Saturday they went to the A&M tailgate, and Coach Elko gave her a high five walking in. So. What a weekend, right?
Yeah, it is a great weekend.
She needs to go to soccer because I'm sure you got an update on soccer as well.
I do have an update on soccer. Sadly, our A&M soccer team came up short against number 5 Tennessee on Friday evening. The Volunteers scored the only match of this game in the 71st minute, and the Aggies just couldn't find an equalizer. But they are hosting the Texas Longhorns this Friday at 7 p.m. or this Thursday at 7 p.m. in the Lone Star Showdown.
I believe Coach G's got a very good record against Texas. I may need to be fact-checked, but I'm pretty sure he's got a really good record. Hopefully that continues this week. All right, OB.
Yeah.
Let's take A&M winners.
Yeah.
And you know what? Any A&M coach that wants to come with us, let's take them to go eat.
Heck yeah. Well, it's taking them 1775, especially when they're undefeated. When you're undefeated, you deserve a trip to 1775 to have the best Texas barbecue you're going to get. I mean, Texas barbecue is the best barbecue there is. I mean, it's the best in the world. So if you want the best in the world, you go to the best you can get it. And that's 1775 right there on the way to Snook, but over on the left.
Sampler?
Oh, get the sampler, get the succulent brisket, get the jalapeno cheese, sausage, those amazing pork ribs, the turkey. Turkey, even some pork.
Buddy, the amount of food that I ate last week because of that cake, I need to be on a lot, just turkey and broccoli.
A lot of turkey. And you had that cake, so you'd have to pass up the queso mac and cheese, right?
No, you can't pass it up.
No, you can't pass it up.
It's not allowed, okay? It's not allowed.
Yeah, it's not. So you got to have the queso mac and cheese. And I haven't
but
had them.
I'm going to be honest, I'm going to have my own. I don't share.
I haven't had them, but I've been told that the pinto beans are amazing, too.
Eat that too. 1775txbbq.com is the website. Call them up, 979-492-6241.
It's good.
Mm-hmm. Hey everyone, it's David and Olin from the Holistic Planning
Cool Zone.
I like when we have the chairs here because I don't feel like I have to do this when we're talking about holistic planning. But they want you to know, TexAgs subscribers, they take care of the TexAgs subscribers.
Oh, absolutely. Take care of everybody.
They want to know that anybody who signs up by November 27, 2025 will receive this awesome offer. If the Aggies beat the Longhorns or win in Austin on November 28, 2025, clients will pay no management fees to Holistic Planning for the entire 2026 calendar year.
That's free.
It's free 99. Actually, just free.
All you got to do is beat Texas. Well, it's not if they beat Texas, it's when they beat Texas.
When. And when you go to holisticplanning.com, you're going to love Holistic Planning. So it is holisticplanning.com. Check out the website and take advantage of this awesome offer. We're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. The Go Hour presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. I want to just briefly touch on something. Because our audience is like family, I think you guys saw that I left the show early on Friday. We had a tragedy. I had a nephew pass away. So, a lot of you have been asking why I left. That's why I left. I'll probably be gone from the show a few days this week as we travel to Florida. But thank you for being a wonderful family, guys. Those of you who reached out, and I know I heard from a lot of people, so thank you very much. OB,
Yeah.
let's get into some of the things from this game, but I want to hear from the people. So let's go to the Angry Elephant Youth and Social Center. I still want to get into that question I asked, or that topic I brought up, which was like some of the questions we had about this team. But first, what are the people saying at the Angry Elephant Youth and Social Center?
Yeah.
Ryan, on YouTube, on the text, on the premium chat.
Yeah, there was a lot of controversy in the YouTube chats about Elko's, just how he called out the reporters in the post-game conference and what y'all's opinions were on the matter.
First of all, I like Elko a lot. I think he's doing a great job. I think it comes off, at least to me, and I know most people aren't going to agree with reporters. I get that. It comes off very Kim Mulkey-ish when you start telling people what the story should be and saying, why aren't you asking me this? Again, like I was talking about, I don't think anyone was asking him questions, why did y'all fail? Or we're saying, hey, these were big issues in the game. In fact, I even asked him, I can't even remember what it was, but I asked him something about the defense and how you kept Cam Coleman down and stuff like that. And he's like, why aren't you celebrating this? That's not our role to celebrate there. We're not cheerleaders. Ours is to ask questions pertaining to the game.
What I'll say about that, OB, is so I think coaches are like in the middle. They're still in kind of like in gladiator mode, even if it's been 10 minutes after the game. What I think the question that I took away from this win from our fan bases, we don't know how to enjoy 4-0. And maybe that's all fan bases, but a lot of the fan bases that I've covered have a similar story to A&M. The Astros for years were almost good, right? And then they became really good. So it was different. Then we became insufferable fans. The Houston football in general, Oilers, Texans, right? So I have this history of flirting with really good and then predicting demise, right? And I think sometimes that's what happens with A&M fans is like we just see all the flaws and not the moment right now. Like, let's enjoy 4-0. And I'm not saying the media has to enjoy 4-0. What I'm saying is let's enjoy 4-0. And yeah, we won, and there's things we got to fix, but we won doing it.
Right. I just don't know that. What was the question that was asked before that's offensive? That all the questions were very pertinent to the game. Yeah. And then you come as a coach say, no, that's not what you should be asking me about. You should be asking me about how that we're 4-0 and things like that. Well, maybe we just hadn't gotten there yet. Maybe, again, our role, the reporter's role is not to cheerlead and just lift up softball questions, it's to ask pertinent information about or pertinent questions about events in the game. So this from the day that they fired Jimbo, I was pro Elko. This is the guy. And I still believe that, and I think he's a great coach. I think he's doing great things, obviously, and I think they're going to continue. I just don't think that was the right message or the right time to do that. If you have an issue with me as a reporter, and I don't think it was with me, I think it was just in general, but wait till the camera's off, come up and say, hey, talk to me man to man or reporter to coach, because there's women reporters out there too.
What else do we have?
This is one I like, just made me laugh. Eric McClendon said, who can stop us? And this Night Moose replied, we can stop us. I think that sums up.
Well, that was the case in that game.
Yeah.
Let's see, I've just got a
text?
Yeah, I'm trying to see.
You have to go see HR again?
I don't know if this is supposedly referee Daniel Gautreaux. He was referee for the suspended.
For what?
I don't know if this is real or not.
Okay. We'll get to it at the break. Let's try to get one final text message or a YouTube chat or premium chat from TexAgs.com.
Someone texted, I do think that the refs were looking for every call they could against A&M. At the end of the day, we shouldn't be committing that many penalties, but curious to see the penalties.
Auburn had some too, and they were blatant. But I just thought that those officials look. There was a long run. I can't remember if it was Ruben or Amari or Le'Veon. It was early in the game, and they called a holding penalty on Naboo. And I went back.
You went back and watched it, yeah.
I'm still. I still don't see the hold. Now maybe it's because I'm seeing Naboo from back, and maybe he's holding inside. But it's ticky tack at best.
Well, expect bad officiating and don't make extra mistakes. And I think that's more my problem. Like the extra mistakes, running into a kicker.
Right.
Now I got to go back and watch the one. Was it Regis who did the suplex of the player?
Yeah, Regis was flagged for unnecessary roughness.
I feel like he was making a play and like in the middle of moment. I don't know. I have to go back and watch it. But like,
and then one time,
don't add to it.
Basantes got a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty at the end of a 20-yard gain.
Yeah, I think he was talking to the official, if I remember that.
And once again, why?
Yeah.
Well, when is that ever going to come out in your favor?
It doesn't.
Never. So there's just some things that you got to play smarter.
Hey, what are your thoughts on wearing your hat backwards?
Yeah, okay. I don't have an issue with that. I don't wear a hat very often.
I don't either.
Sometimes I wear it backwards when I wear it.
I guess not a lot of successful people wear their hat backwards, though, I guess is the point. Ken Griffey Jr., who was pretty successful.
Yeah, he was successful.
Oh, Theo Vaughn hosts a show. You probably don't know who that is.
No,
he wears his hat backwards all the time. He's one of the most successful comedians in the world. Yeah, I don't know. All right, let's talk duck camp, shall we? You wear the duck camp shirt backwards.
Yeah, you know what? If I had a duck camp cap on, I wouldn't put it on backwards.
I might do it.
Because I want them to see that logo.
Yeah, that's cool. True. The logo's good.
Yeah.
But you know what I do? I don't even catch myself. I sometimes I have it here, and then it goes to the back, and it goes forward, and it goes back, and it goes forward.
I thought you'd kind of have it on sideways.
I've done it sideways.
Because you're such a rapper guy,
By the way,
doing this.
We're going to spend maybe 15 seconds on the halftime act in a minute, but not right now. I have some thoughts on that. But duck camp, I have a lot of thoughts on duck camp. I wear their gear all the time.
Yeah, and I wear it often, and when I do, I typically get compliments. It's typically from college-age guys that tell me that I shouldn't be wearing it because I'm too old. And I'm saying, no. Did
they say that to you?
Yeah, I've had that.
I would beat that. Just kidding, I wouldn't.
I'm an old guy that looks good in duck camp.
I've seen you in a Speedo. Do it. Who cares?
No, he hasn't.
I mean,
maybe if duck camp came up with the duck camp version,
as long as you shave. Anyway, duckcamp.com is the website, and just look at the clothes, the hoodies especially, built for the outdoors, designed for everything else. Everyone, David Nuño here for Allen Honda. Had a great conversation with them earlier today. John Allen's the owner. He's been here forever. And also their GM, Rusty Skinner, great guy. Wonderful conversation. They're super local. They're a family-owned dealership, not some massive auto group. And they treat their customers like family because they basically are family. They're Aggie alums. They love Aggie sports. And they've been serving the Brazos Valley with integrity, with passion, and commitment to excellence for over 50 years, which is very rare, by the way, for the independents because people trust them. And that's why they've been doing it for such a long time. Whether you're looking to buy, lease, or service your vehicle, you can count on them for transparent, no pressure experience that puts your needs first. And I can attest to it. Had a great conversation about my own situation with them. Their knowledgeable sales team will help you find the perfect Honda to fit your lifestyle, from fuel-efficient sedans to versatile SUVs. Leasing options are flexible and affordable, making it easy to drive the latest models with confidence. And when it comes to service, their certified technicians only use genuine Honda parts to keep your vehicle running at its best, whether it's routine maintenance for major repairs or whatever it may be. And we know that trust isn't given, it is earned. And that's why generations of local drivers right here in the Brazos Valley and Bryan-College Station keep coming back to Allen Honda. As part of the community with Aggie spirit in their hearts, they are here to make everyone's visit wonderful. So visit their showroom or their service lane and find friendly, efficient, and memorable situations when you go to Allen Honda. Come see why so many College Station and Bryan drivers choose Allen Honda for their automotive needs. And remember, gig 'em. And I will tell you, I'm actually not excited about Bad Bunny being the halftime performer at the Super Bowl.
Is that who that is right there?
Yeah, it's your boy. Yeah, I know.
I thought it sounded like some
Cat squealing.
some weird, like what are those like monks? You know that do the those songs.
Yeah.
It's kind of sound like a Tibetan monk.
Yeah, those are jams. Here's my why I'm not excited about it. Because I'm going to catch strays.
You're gonna do what?
I'm going to catch strays. You know what that means? I'm going to get stray bullets.
Oh, okay.
Because
I hope not.
Oh, I shouldn't even use that as a line.
But that's okay.
Yeah, but because I like Bad Bunny,
Right.
and I know how Super Bowl halftime performances go. I knew it was going to happen a few years ago when Eminem and Dr. Dre and Ice Cube all performed. I was going to hear it from the people. There's a group of people that are going to love it, and then everybody else is going to complain. This doesn't represent me. I hate it. I just don't want to be in the middle of the strays. So as much as I appreciate his music, and he is one of my favorite artists of all time, one of them, right?
To each his own.
I don't want to catch the stray. My phone last night, I was asleep because I go to bed like an old woman. Not that there's anything wrong with being an old woman. And I was getting I woke up this morning at 4:45 to a bunch of text messages about Bad Bunny.
Look, I won't watch it because
You should.
because I don't typically watch the
Halftime show.
So I won't watch it, but if that's your cup of tea, great. You know, the great thing about America is we can be different.
I kind of thought it was going to be Morgan Wallen. That's what I thought it was going to be. And I think there would have been and I love Morgan Wallen, by the way. But there would have been a bunch of people who complained about that too. So I just don't want to see complaining.
Yeah, I would probably be more inclined to watch Morgan Wallen.
I played him for you in the car.
Yeah.
Like, this is pretty good.
Yeah, because he's probably not going to show up in some of those outlandish get-ups that your Rotten Rabbit guy likes to wear.
Benito is what we like to call him in the community.
Okay.
The Latino community, I should say.
Yeah. Well, hey, I love the Latino community.
That I know. You're part of it. You're a member. You go to the meetings.
Once you've been married, you become one, right?
Yeah.
So
anyway, let's get into the topic that I wanted to get into.
All right, let's see.
So we had a bunch of questions about this team entering the season.
Yes.
And some of those questions kept on popping up throughout the first few weeks.
Okay.
One of the biggest questions was, can they reduce the big plays? Okay. Defensively, like, can they stop the explosive plays? And I don't think one game answers that question, right?
Right.
But one game sure makes me feel significantly better against a team that last year had a lot of big plays against you.
Yeah, I think if you go out there and you're facing a receiver like Cam Coleman, and he gets 4 catches for 18 yards, you go, wait a minute, what's going on here? Because if Cam Coleman had finished with 4 catches for 60 yards,
pretty good
and
game.
only 2 of them were 20 yarders, I'd be thinking, what a great job.
Yeah.
You kept that guy in check. I mean, that's Cam Coleman. When you go, you can say what you want about what Auburn's offense is or isn't, but when you hold a team to one big play, 20 yards or more, that's why I would define it. You've done a spectacular job. And we were talking about this on a text message last night. After A&M gave up the 75-yard run to Robert Henry in the first play of the second half against UTSA in the first game, A&M's given up something like 200 yards. This is not exact, but it's like 200 and change, 230 yards or something like that, rushing since then. And when you see, I think opponents are averaging like, since that run, are averaging like 2.3 yards a carry against A&M's run defense. And that includes when they scramble and things like that. So the defense has done a remarkable transformation against the run. Yeah, you're going to give up some yards to Notre Dame and Jeremiah Love and Dennis Price, and yet
I thought they did a pretty good job on them.
They did a really good job. So just look at the Arkansas game to ask yourself what kind of job they did. So when you see that, you say, okay, they're fixing things in the run defense, and then you go out, and one of the questions we had in the offseason, where's the pass rush going to come from? Everywhere. It's going to come from Dayon Hayes. It's coming from Cassius Did you see the sack that DJ Hicks got?
Yeah.
Man, don't talk one that one to knock the fillings out of your teeth. Or should it come from Torian York or Damian Sanford? It's coming from everywhere. And so that's one. And then when you start making plays in the secondary, again, the one big play they got was contested and beautifully contested. Sometimes the other team's going to make a play. Sometimes the officiating call is going to help them. But at least if you're giving up a play, you're right there, and it wasn't like a wide open catch.
Let's do the turning point because we agree. I put a couple on here, okay, but we agree. I believe the turning point in the game was a 3rd and 12 situation in the third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, bro, like they're up 10-3 at this point, right? And I actually said the word bro because I like to be unprofessional. Bro, we better make a play here. And who makes the play? Samari Nyblack.
What? Nabari. I'm just dying here. Okay, Nyblack and Marcel Reed,
Yes.
who's under pressure and extends the play, does those, what you want from a quarterback like that, delivers a good pass. Nyblack takes a hit, bounces off, turns it into a 23-yard gain. It leads to the field goal that gives A&M a 13-3 lead. How huge was that field goal? So how huge was that play?
That play was the difference in a game that it shouldn't have been the difference.
Should not have been.
But it was the difference.
Now, I'll say the other turning point was, quite frankly, the last play that Auburn ran.
The Deion Hayes.
It's 4th and 1. There's still a minute to go. And Auburn can still win this game. And you still got Cam Coleman out there. And then you see Deion Hayes and Damian Sanford make a Jackson-Arnold sandwich on a sack to basically end the game. But until then, the game's still in jeopardy.
Sure. I will tell you this. It wasn't the turning point, but when the Torian sack
happened.
That's the
exclamation point.
Yeah. When the Torian sack happened a couple drives earlier.
Yes.
I felt at that point, I believe, yes, can they win the game? Yes, they can because the score is 16-10. Of course they can win the game. But I didn't think they were going to win the game with the way the defense was starting to tee off on them at the end. And it was that, and we haven't talked much about Torian. We did yesterday on the Luchador.
He was amazing.
Torian had one of those games where you're like, okay, the stats don't tell the story.
Right. First of all, if you want, I know everybody recorded the game. Just watch Torian before the snap. Torian, I swear, it seems like he knows the offense that Auburn's running better than Auburn knows it. He's calling every play. He's directing traffic. He's like, he knows what's coming. So he did an amazing job in preparation. And he's at the right place at the right time on every play. Here's the deal, Torian, in that game. Look, he's been a good linebacker. He was a great linebacker. He was an elite linebacker in that game. If that's Torian York, the rest of the year, playing like that,
he's an All-American.
He's consensus All-American.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
He's a Butkus Award winner if he's that guy. And now, a lot of guys have one great game.
Yeah.
But not everybody has a game like that.
Well, and Obi, think about this. He did it without Scooby there and how needed it was.
But Damian Sanford played really well.
Damian Sanford's been fantastic. Ever since he's come in, he's been fantastic.
He played really well. So, but Torian, when you talk about the, quote, quarterback of the defense, again, I implore you, watch the game, watch the replay, and just focus on Torian before the snap.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he was so active. He knew everything that was coming.
And he's pointing, and he's already there, and he's like, he was like, it almost felt like he knew what was about to happen.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You'll watch a quarterback that's getting his team out of a bad play and into a good one and kill. And it was the same thing on the defensive side.
Yeah.
Torian York, salute.
All right, we'll hit a break here. When we come back on TexAgs Live, randomness. Messages?
Yeah.
There's some text messages that haven't been read yet.
Yeah, let's hear them.
We'll hear from the people, and then we'll get ready for Marty Smith here on the program. A moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell, and online at CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. So if you're looking for a selection that won't break the bank, Caldwell Country Chevrolet is probably the place you need to start. There's no probably to it. You just start there because A, their selection is fantastic. B, they have amazing prices. and see the great trade-in value. You put that all together along with the excellent customer service. You're going to be driving away smiling, knowing that, hey, I get free oil changes for life on the life of this purchase, right? So that's what happens at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. You need to make the drive. It's about a 15-minute drive, the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. I tell you, they're playing the jams over there at Bryan Broadcast.
Yeah.
Significant upgrade in picking of the music.
Over the last one?
I'm not going to call anybody out, but like it's
No,
like
I meant over the last.
oh no, Bad Bunny was great. In fact,
Rotten Rabbit.
we just found out that we're going to do a full week of Bad Bunny during the Go Hour. But that being said, that was Morgan Wallen.
Heinous hair, rotten rabbit,
Rotten Rabbit.
heinous hair. What's another word for a bunny? I guess that's it.
That's it.
Bunny, hair, rabbit.
Yeah.
Probably runs out right there. All right, let's get to the
Angry Elephant.
yeah
News
and social sound.
Thank you very much, Ella Ryan. I know there's got to be a good message. I know there's a bad one, but give me a good one.
Okay, here is a good one. Elko is the real deal. This guy is so dialed in on details, and in my opinion, these kind of wins are the new Texas A&M reality.
I don't agree with that.
Not the new reality?
No, I don't. Not these kind of wins. I think you're going to see more wins where they play well on offense, and they're I think they're going to see wins in these clutch games that they're going to make plays, which they've done 2 games in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And one time was with the offense, one time. But I think you're going to start seeing more comfortable wins, 10 points and more.
I hope so, gosh.
I don't think you're going to see a lot of games where they leave so many points on the field like they did that one.
I want you guys to understand. I probably shouldn't say this out loud because A&M athletics department and like the media relations team is probably going to hear me say this and going to monitor my activity during a game. But we are so stressed out, OB, during these games. Every play matters.
That
was the most stressed you've been.
I'm going to admit something. And David will back me up on this. I'm typically very stoic in the press box. It's just the way. And I wanted that win so bad that I wasn't yelling or cheering or anything like that. But I was cursing a lot.
You threw, I think, your papers at one point.
At one time, I was. It's probably when they got the interception.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I wanted A&M to win that game really bad because I just felt like you can't beat Notre Dame like that and then come back and let one get away. So I thought that was really important, and I wanted to see them win.
I've never read the book, but I understand there's a book called Embrace the Suck. I know it's at least a line that I see everywhere. And SEC games are a bunch of suck. All of them are like a play or two away from being a blowout to a win. Like you look at this game. The score is not indicative of the beatdown that I think A&M put on them.
And to my point, I think you'll see more, maybe not beatdowns, but comfortable wins.
Yeah, that game should not have felt as nerve-wracking, even though I believe the defense was going to make a play. I said that already. I felt like, especially after that Torian sack, I'm like, we got this. But we've got to embrace these close games and also embrace that we're going to win a bunch of them because I think we got the right guy leading the charge.
I do too. Even if there's an occasional play I disagree with. I mean, imagine being a Georgia fan today and you had a chance to tie the game.
What are you doing not kicking a field goal there?
Kirby not smart.
Well played, sir. Well played. You got one more for us before we hit a break?
Yeah, sort of going off that Georgia game. But the thing I didn't understand about the play call on 3rd and 1 is that even if we get stuffed, we have a short field goal to make it 16-3. Definitely a weird one by Klein.
Yeah, but again, we've only got 10 seconds. I spoke to several people that think that's actually a safe play call. It was just a bad throw.
Every play is a good call if you execute it.
If it works. All right, that'll do it for this hour. When we come back, Marta Smith on TexAgs Live. And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Waiting on Marty Smith. Hopefully we'll get him here in a moment. Billy will be here probably in the next 20 minutes or so. If you want to talk to us, you can do it. 979-693-1150. We'll pick it up on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending hotline. Before Marty gets here, I should probably do the read. Huddle Up, tailgate season is here, and there's no better place to gear up than Academy Sports and Outdoors. If you want a grill that says my barbecue is just as good as my smack talk, we've got you. A cooler that screams, I hold 47 cans and keep my cool. Even in overtime, we got that as well. And the fan gear that says, I score more style points than a football spinning, back flipping, chunky chicken touchdown dance. Academy's got that at undefeatable prices because here, the fun can't lose. We go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Apparently, we have some fun questions.
Some fun questions. This is my favorite one so far. How did David feel after eating all that cake? And did he eat the whole cake for that amount of coin?
Yeah, I did. I know there was like 4 people like, you didn't lick the plate clean. Bro, I would have died. If that's what you're suggesting. Sorry, we got to be professional again. Hat back forward. I did not feel good for the first couple of hours. Like there was definitely that sugar crash definitely happened. And I just felt like, But stomach-wise, gut-wise, I actually handled it a lot better than I expected. Don't make fun of me. I know people will. Once I got a workout in afterwards, I felt great. Like
That's crazy.
There is nobody in the world. I'm going to tell you
say.
right now. There's nobody in the world who doesn't feel better after a workout.
Now you have a full cake in your stomach.
Doesn't matter. You feel better. You automatically, your endorphins, everything. You feel better. I'm not saying like a killer workout where you're like throwing up. I'm not saying that. Just a good quality exercise.
I will second that, David.
Thank you.
I know you're not part of this community, but at least back when I was in school, if you partied a little too hard after celebrating a win, just go for a run. You feel like amazing afterwards.
You do. And I'm telling you, as you get older, trust me on this, it works. If you have a little bit of a headache, you feel like taking a nap, go for a walk outside, go for a run, lift some weights, you'll feel better.
Mm-hmm.
Any fun questions football-wise?
Oh, football-wise, not yet. That I've seen, but I had this one up. Olin stopped watching the Super Bowl halftime show after Janet Jackson.
That's when I started watching. Sorry, that was wrong. I'm sure there's some football thoughts on there. Come
There's
on.
definitely some football thoughts. We talked about this earlier with OB a little bit, but they said 50-yard field goals are hard to hit. Bond is money when it's less than 50 yards.
Yeah, look, 50-yard. Yes, I am not mad at him for missing those. I wish he made them, right? But I recognize how hard that is. He has been money on the closer ones, no doubt about that. But you definitely got to hit those, right? At some point, and I think he will. Unfortunately, smart play by Hugh Freeze. The only smart play he made was on that first 50-yard field goal attempt. He called a timeout as Randy was about to kick it, and Randy hit that one. That would have made a difference. But look, clean up mistakes. Mistakes do include hitting field goals. Here's a part of the game that I don't think we've actually spent enough time on, and I think that is finishing drives with 7, not 3. Yeah. I know it's a lot harder than just saying that, right? But you move the ball pretty well. Billy made a very eloquent and smart comparison. That game was reminiscent to the Texas A&M game last year, where you're like, how are we in this game? Mm-hmm. Like, we're getting our butts kicked. We actually have a chance. If we score here, it's 17-14. What the heck just happened, right? That's what it felt like on Saturday against Auburn. This was a game that you really felt like there was an absolute chance to win the game. I mean, Auburn had an absolute chance to win the game. And that, to me, is the scary part about SEC football, all coming down to a possession or two. Now, I cannot wait for a day where there's a blowout, like what Notre Dame did to Arkansas. For a few minutes, it felt like, oh, look at Arkansas moving the ball. Notre Dame adjusted, and then they just kept on going down the field. And I believe I read that in the history of Notre Dame football, Jeremiah Love is the first, and somebody can fact check me on this, maybe Caden can, is the first Notre Dame football player to have 2 rushing touchdowns and 2 receiving touchdowns in the same game. I believe I read that. He dominated an Arkansas team who, by the way, just fired Sam Pittman. Had to happen after that Notre Dame game. Had to happen. And I've never met Sam Pittman. Everybody loves him. You talk to all these national media members, they just say he's the best dude in the world. My next door neighbor is an awesome guy as well. I don't think he can coach a football team, so sometimes good guys just aren't going to make it as a head coach. He had a really good 2021 season, and unfortunately, that's the only time A&M lost to Arkansas in the last, 13 years? And that's what started the debate with SEC Mike and myself about Jimbo versus Sam. I think that's long been proven, even before that game, that Jimbo was a superior coach. But Arkansas, now under Bobby Petrino, we all know the history there. Bobby not only being the head coach of Arkansas back in the day, but also being A&M's OC. And I read someone on the chat that said something to the effect of he's starting to change the entire defensive staff.
I did see that earlier.
Yeah,
Let me find it.
So if that's the case, it'll be very interesting. I don't know how much you can change in, I think they have is it the open week for them this week? I believe it is. I don't know how much you can change in a couple of, in 10 days or so, but that change was absolutely had to happen. Taylor Green's a really nice quarterback, but that team's got some major issues.
Yeah, I got a good question for you that just came in. It says, do you think that LSU, Mizzou, or UT will be the toughest remaining road game?
I always think LSU is the toughest road game. Regardless of what you think about their people are panicking. We do it too, by the way, on one loss. Now LSU's got some real skeletons that showed up pretty quickly after the Clemson game. That offense is having some problems. The defense, as good as they are they really that good? I guess is the question. Now what do they hold Ole Miss to? Did Ole Miss end up throwing 27 points?
I think it was 27-13, but I can double check that.
And Chambliss actually had a pretty good game in that.
24-19.
Okay. So, you hold an Ole Miss offense to 24 points. That's a pretty good defensive performance, but their offense has been terrible. They were robbed of a pick six defensively that I guess there was pass interference on the play. I watched the replay of it. Yeah, I saw it, but, sometimes they let that go. But at the end of the day, going to Baton Rouge to me is just because of the history. And it doesn't matter what team you are. It's not just A&M's history. And that's going to be a night game. They'll probably have one loss. Hopefully A&M is undefeated at that point. Hopefully. I still think that would be my number one hard road game. My number two hard road game in that, because you gave 3 games, right, would be Texas. But I am starting to believe in a Missouri team that hasn't played anybody. I'm starting to believe. I'm going to use Indiana as my example. And this is my example, the reason for it. I did not believe in Indiana last year at all. Maybe I shouldn't believe in them this year. But doing it 2 years in a row, and now with a different quarterback, makes me believe in the operation that they have going on there, right? So for that reason, I believe in Indiana. And for that reason, I believe in Missouri. I know their schedule has been light. Their hardest game, was it Kansas? Who did they play last week? Nick, do you have that? Who did they play? It was South Carolina. So South Carolina looked a lot better against a terrible Kentucky team. But, I don't believe in Missouri, right? But I think because of their schedule, because they're going to be at home, that is going to be a more difficult game. Now, they're going to get a much better Alabama team. They'll have to go to Auburn and Vandy. So who knows what Missouri will look like when A&M gets there. But I still think Texas, because of their defense, and I think eventually the offense will figure it out. They're going to be... Now, what will be interesting is what happens this weekend. This weekend's the Florida game, right? They're on the road at Florida. And if that's the case, to me, this game, Florida's all banged up, and that defense has been really good, but they're banged up, right? Hopefully, and Texas is favored by 7.5. I predicted this to be a Florida win before the season started. I thought that would be Texas's first loss. I think this is going to the Swamp is a very difficult place to play. 2:30 start, not as daunting as a night game, but it's still pretty daunting. So I think it could be tough for Texas. I want to see if Arch is really fully back. I actually got a text from a buddy of mine who's a Texas fan who was comparing Arch's stats to Marcel's. And he's like, why are people so down on Arch and so high on Marcel when both have similar numbers? And I'll give you my response. Some of you guys agree or not. I think preseason expectations open up a lot of chatter. There were not a lot of preseason expectations for Marcel, not at the level of an Arch Manning, right? So there's that. Also, what did Arch do against inferior opponents. I look what he did against Ohio State, which I thought he was much better in the fourth quarter of that game. But I'll pass that, right? And I think they're on the same path that they were always going to be, right? Like losing to Ohio State on the road, the national champions, like that shouldn't be such a daunting thing on your resume. But the way they looked in the games before Sam Houston is the why behind it. Why, if you have all this preseason hype, you're a top 5 team to start the season, and you play semi-poorly or not inspiring football against San Jose State and whoever else they played before Sam Houston State, that's the why behind it. And then you look at the caliber of opponent that I think A&M and Marcel Reed have done it against. Notre Dame's defense isn't the defense it was last year, but they're still Notre Dame, and they're still a really good defense. And Auburn obviously has a really good defense. So that's the why. And I did tell my buddy that also people are down on Marcel too. Like every fan base, you're going to get, I don't know, 50-50 split, but you're going to get some that are all in, and you're going to get some that are all out, right? And as I mentioned at the top of the show, I got messages from buds that were like, I don't know how to feel about this win, to, oh my gosh, we're 4-0, we're going to go 12-0, right? I got both text messages within 30 seconds of each other. The bottom line is, when it comes to Texas A&M, are they getting better week to week? Now, obviously, this wasn't a better offensive performance from A&M's offense, right? But the team overall, they're undefeated. They beat the teams that they have to in sloppy. They win a sloppy game, they win a shootout. And the reason the Notre Dame game was a little closer than it should have been was because of mistakes. And that's called big boy football. If you don't get the punt block, right, I think you win that game going away. If Marcel, and I've used this a couple times, hits one of those deep balls against Notre Dame, or, by the way, against Auburn, that is a blowout. I'm not saying the Notre Dame game would have been a blowout, but it would have been a much more comfortable game than coming down to the last offensive possession. Mm-hmm. So for that reason, I believe this team is getting better. I am, because I'm made this way, I'm super worried about Mississippi State. I saw what Mississippi State did against Tennessee, and then I'm thinking to myself, well, going to Starkville is always hard, even if they're terrible. And Tennessee, I don't think is as good as A&M. So, and they got to come here. I still am worried about that game. That team, I believe, forced Tennessee into a couple of turnovers, right? Joey Aguilar, I believe, had 2 passes that were batted that ended up being interceptions. Mississippi State's defense, regardless, Mississippi State's a significantly better team than we thought when the season started. So if Nick can put A&M's schedule, we're going to kind of go through these teams where they are now, what we thought. Notre Dame is about what I thought they'd be. I don't think I thought they were going to lose both the Miami and A&M game, but they're about what I thought, with one more loss, but I think they're fine. Auburn. Why am I yelling? I feel like I'm yelling.
I think it was just on the Auburn thing.
Auburn! Ah! Auburn is a player 2 away. Now, I don't think they're a player 2 away from beating A&M. I know the score says that, but I don't believe that. My heart says what I saw on the field, they were not a player 2 away from winning. The score does say that. But Auburn, if you're an Auburn fan, you can say you're a player 2 away from being undefeated against top 10 teams. Okay? Mississippi State, significantly better than anybody thought. I had an insider on at SEC Media Days, Brian Haydad, and I think he was predicting maybe 5 or 6 wins. They are playing great football. They are an overtime away from being a ranked team and maybe having a game day here at Kyle Field for that game. Florida's worse than we thought. But the only reason I think we think that out loud is A, the offense has been terrible, and B, was it Central Florida? The Central Florida loss, right? Not Central Florida. Yeah, Central Florida. It was Central Florida. So the Central Florida loss. So that's the why behind it. Arkansas, about what we thought. Am I surprised they fired Sam Pittman? No, I thought they would fire Sam Pittman last year at this exact same time before their bye week. LSU, about what I thought they would be. I think their offense is worse. I think their defense is better. It's, am I surprised that they have one loss? No. I think Ole Miss, which we don't play, is significantly better than I thought. Ole Miss, significantly better than I thought. They haven't played anybody, but they're significantly better than I thought. South Carolina, who they beat. They're about what I thought. People ridiculed me. I'm very rarely right. So when I'm right, I got to tell you. I thought and by the way, the defense looked really good against a very bad Kentucky team. I was ridiculed by some national folks, not national media, but just people when I went on SEC Mike's show, and I said plainly, I think Lenore Sellers is one of the 3 best quarterbacks in the SEC, but I don't think they're going to be better because the defense has to take a step back, and that defense is why his offense was able to overcome, in my opinion, some of the issues protecting him and getting more opportunities with the ball, right? And I thought their defense would take a step back. Their defense is starting to look better, again, against a very bad Kentucky team. I don't know how much you can read into that, but they're looking better. And they were able to get after the quarterback, not named Zach Calzada. So I think South Carolina is about what I thought, maybe worse than the national media. Doesn't mean that game's going to be a picnic by any stretch, because I think they're good. Pretty much everybody on your schedule can beat you. Who else is left on the A&M schedule? So we've done Missouri, Samford, whatever. And I think Texas is probably worse offensively than I thought, about what I thought defensively, and I still think they're going to be a 10-2, 9-3 team.
Yeah.
That's just what I think about them. So when you do the math and you add it all up, A&M's schedule is probably a little more difficult than we thought, because you still have to go to Baton Rouge. You still have to go to Texas, and I think those are hard places to play. I think Missouri has become a harder team. I think Florida is a team that can beat you.
Yeah,
because
Florida
of their
also,
defense.
they lost to South Florida, not
South
Central.
Florida, sorry. South Florida, not Central Florida. That's right. South Florida Bulls. And who got destroyed by Miami.
Yeah.
So, and Mississippi State, significantly harder test than we thought before the season. So I think A&M's schedule is actually harder, but A&M is also a better football team, which makes that harder schedule much more manageable.
I agree.
Let's get one more text in, and then we'll hit a break.
Yeah, a lot of people were talking about, I mean, you mentioned it earlier, Marcel and the deep balls, and just saying if we were able to connect on them and we'll be unstoppable. And someone said they would like to see Marcel, tuck it and run a bit more, and he's trying to force himself into the pocket and not respecting his legs.
I'm glad you brought that up. I wonder if that is maybe by design, because it is a long season. And the more he runs, the more he gets hit, the more opportunities are. And I think we're trying to preserve him. So maybe that's by design. And as the season goes on, and the game plan provides, maybe you let the reins off a little bit. Calvin Super Chat says 13 penalties at Notre Dame and 13 versus Auburn. Quit blaming the refs. Fix the problem. Refs aren't responsible for the false starts and unsportsmanlike penalties after the play has ended. Don't disagree. They will work on it. I hope they fix it. It's interesting, though. Like, I've used this comparison before. There are certain players in sports that I really admire that play with an edge. Okay? And most people hate these players. I tend to love them. The way Charles Barkley used to play the game, Pat Beverly, Draymond Green. There are certain players that play with this edge. The Dylan Brooks from the Rockets. There's certain players that play with an edge that I love. I like to live life with that same kind of mentality. And it's also, it's not a good thing always. Sergio Ramos in soccer, right? There's certain people that play with an edge. And I'm curious that when you have a defensive-minded head coach, you sometimes play with an edge. And there's a good and a bad to it. You've got to rein it in. Just like the Draymonds of the world, you've got it when it starts going off track. Hey, you're going to cost us an NBA Finals against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Relax, homeboy. And I think that's, hopefully they can rein in some of the extra stuff, because you're going to get holds. You're going to get some false starts. We didn't have any false starts, or many, I believe, against. Did we have any against? I can't remember. I just remember all the dumb penalties. I'm sure there had to be a false start. But that being said, there's regular penalties that are going to happen. Don't get the extra ones. The roughing the punter, which can be avoided. That's the big thing. All right, we'll hit a break. When we come back, I will lose my scripts, and we will talk to Billy Liucci. He'll be here in studio. I believe we're going to have the Association of Former Students in studio really soon, by the way. They got a lot of cool events coming up. But right now, if you're looking for a reason to come back to Aggie Land, or you are already in Aggie Land and you're looking for a great opportunity to help Aggies, the Association of Former Students is seeking to hire professionals to join their team. There are positions open in everything from fundraising, typically marketing, communications, you name it. They've got a lot of different positions that are typically open if you want to join a fun and exciting team. They're the nation's premier alumni association, and they're also the oldest organization supporting Texas A&M and part of that Aggie network. They play a part in every Aggie story from Howdy to here. Don't miss opportunities to help out the association with Howdy Socials, Aggie Ring Day, class reunions, Aggie Muster, and everything in between. Join a team that exemplifies those Aggie core values of excellence, integrity, leadership, loyalty, respect, and selfless service, all in support of that worldwide Aggie network. So if you're interested in joining a team or sharing with someone that would be a great fit, please visit tx.ag/association jobs to apply and get more information on each position. It is the Association of Former Students. Looking at these stats on Mississippi State, a little concerned about Fluff Bothwell. Saw his highlights from this past weekend. They got some dudes over there. The running back Fluff Bothwell, 70 carries, 405 yards, 6 touchdown rushes, and he's averaging 5.8 yards per carry. We know how good Blake Shapen can be. What he was at Baylor last year, his season was cut short. This year, he's got over 1,000 yards passing, 8 touchdowns. He's rushed for only 53 yards, but he does have a touchdown. So, just a little bit about their offense. I'll be talking to a couple insiders this week and just trying to get a better feel for them as I formulate my Nuño's notes. But they are significantly better than expected. I'm looking at some of these stats here. Mississippi State is averaging 38.6 points per game. That's interesting. Their defense only given up 17.6 points per game. So there is that to get into. Billy is in the lobby, so we'll get to Billy here momentarily. Do you have your TexAgs premium chat open by any chance?
I have the Text Groove open right now.
Okay. Let's also open up TexAgs.com. There's a chat on there. There's several chats on there. I'll read some of these. So penalties are really killing us. Was a problem for us last year. Yes, I agree. Oh, and I guess it's from the same person. Oh, no, that was Aggie Engineering 12. Yeah, so that is a theme for A&M. Hello, Billy. Oh, you don't have your mic on? I like that hat, though. I'd wear it backwards if I were you. Anyway, we'll read a text as he gets situated.
Yeah.
Well, they were on your butt yesterday.
About that, one guy, Mooney69.
Guy throttled you.
I think I
What
won.
a cool person he is.
I think I won that battle.
I mean, I did say the same thing he said, Ella. He came in. I said, "You look weird today."
No. He lies. He said, you look young today. Don't lie to the people.
He did. You look like a little kid.
Yeah.
That was coming over here. It was like your baseball had rolled down the hill and you were coming to get it.
I had shorts on.
Little Sandlot action.
Yeah, it was. It was.
And for the record, just so everybody knows, I had come from the fields because my kids had played games and we also had a family meeting. So I rushed here, sorry, to do the
But that
Lucha
wasn't said in fun. Like mine was. That guy was trying to. He was genuinely offended by you wearing your hat backwards, and it's so silly.
Unprofessional.
It's so silly to me that we do an hour-long Sunday podcast, and
that's the takeaway.
And it derails what otherwise you ruin it for. That's what people don't realize when I'll kick people off. Not necessarily for that, but when it escalates and people they don't want to let it go, that ends up getting someone kicked off and everyone's like, oh, well, what's Billy doing? Man, if you walked into a restaurant and you were one of the servers and someone started talking to you like that, or a bartender or a manager or a cook, your ass is out of there.
Yeah.
Every time. Don't eat that food, it's terrible. Look at the way this person's dressed, it's terrible. They shouldn't be. Why would you remain in the restaurant? You're making the experience bad for everyone else. So a comment like that, and everyone keeps going, and it derails what would otherwise be good conversation that the other 99% of the subscriber base wants to have.
Yep.
But it takes it away, and then people go, I'm not going over there. It's just a bunch of people arguing about Nuño's backwards hat that 99% of people didn't care about, but me and that guy.
But let me say this. I think that's part of the beauty of TexAgs also, though, is that they feel like they know us so well.
That's
that
not.
They can say
ass.
that. But
It's
then,
not.
But then you know me.
That's the beauty ruined and made ugly.
Okay. But then you know me. I'm FBI Nuño. I go investigate every post ever.
Yeah.
And he's a threat derailer. So bye. He's not bye. He can come back. But
if he keeps doing that, there's no place for it. And it's not part of the beauty of it. The beauty of it is people that get to think they know you and you're a part of their day and they enjoy it and they enjoy the conversation and banter with their other fellow subscribers and Aggies. That's the joy of it, the beauty of it.
I'm really liking your hat, by the way. I really like it. Sorry to derail the thread.
Maybe this Mooney guy will like it as well.
Just don't put it on backwards.
What you think, Mooney?
Very unprofessional. Anyway, it's almost time for a break, but I'd love to get at least a football thought from you. Your major takeaway from 4 games into the season.
4 games in. A really good team that's got a lot of potential to get better and is getting better. It is getting better as you watch them I know they were better offensively against Notre Dame than they were against Auburn, but I mean, they still moved the ball actually really well. And that wasn't even, they didn't even seem like they were firing on all cylinders, and they were still moving it really well. Penalties got them, obviously. A couple missed kicks, and otherwise this game looks totally different. I think this team's getting better. It's very clear to me. That defensive effort, I think, is exactly what the team needed. Mm-hmm. You saw flashes of it against Notre Dame, but then they'd give up big plays, and you'd see, I think this was exactly what the team needed right about now and coming out of that bye. Not that you wanted it to be that close. That's not what they needed, but just to win a football game and realize, hey, we still got a lot we need to work on. And you can't come out against anybody on the schedule and think it's not going to be 4 quarters of a dogfight, because there's always going to be something that goes wrong, and you're going to have to hang in there and just battle. So I think the last 2 weeks they've learned a couple of really good lessons. I love the fact that they won one game primarily due to offense, and they won the other game primarily due to their defense, where they leaned on each unit down the stretch of a game. And look, let me ask you this for the fans that can't get past them. What team in college football right now are you watching that you go, they don't need to get better? What was the final score of Oregon Penn State again?
Overtime, what was it? 36-31, something like that?
It was 30-24.
That was like, you watch that game, and if you came away thinking that Oregon or Penn State don't have areas where they need to get better, if you watch, OU's ranked up there around A&M. I already made the compare. By the way, these people, dude, I don't know. Tech fans right now take the cake. I mean, if there's a cactus by your emoji, you're just wildly flying into people's mentions, just talking crap, uninvited. Like, they see the rankings and they're hating on A&M. It's a weird group. It's a weird group. At least they identify themselves. These OU fans come out of the shadows. So I've got a new name for Chet Venables. It's Blueprint Brent.
Oh, he gave us the blueprint how to beat them.
He gave the blueprint. A&M wouldn't. You can't compare the numbers because Venables gave the blueprint. So Blueprint Brent. It's hard to say. Blueprint Brent.
But even the national media were saying that.
Yeah, I mean, because that is stupidity. Mm-hmm. Like, yes, no one knew how to stop Jackson Arnold and the Hugh Freeze offense. Now, look, A&M didn't stop it last year. So that was, I talked about it prior to the game, that was for Mike Elko and Bateman to figure out, hey, we can't get blitzed by this team early like we did last year, and we got to do a better job. There doesn't need to be a blueprint. They don't have the running back they had last year. Jackson Arnold, if you watched him for a whole year last year, everybody knew that he will hold on to the ball too long. He's slow to process, to go through progressions. He'll take sacks. What blueprint was there? Did you watch the scheme and Mike Elko ran the exact same scheme as Blueprint Brent? No. They just both lined up and kicked the Auburn offense's ass. 2 really good defenses. Yep. But what I found interesting and why everybody started coming, oh, blueprint. I found it interesting that everyone talks up the OU defense, and this A&M defense that people were questioning and had questions about came out and did as good or better a job. Period. They did a better job, but it's because of the blueprint. Now, if they wanted to really make me go, maybe you say, dude, we sacked the guy 10 times and we physically beat them up, and he was gun shy and he's shell shocked and he's not going to recover this year from it mentally. I would agree with. I go, yeah, there's some of that to it for sure. But this whole Brent Venables showed you, like Elko and A&M couldn't have figured out this Auburn juggernaut offense that was just rolling through everyone for the last year and a half, unstoppable, like a hot knife through butter. But Venables finally cracked the code and figured it out. Well, what are we talking about here? Anyway, OU's got things they need to work on, and now, with Mateer hurt, you look at Who else is running? Georgia and Alabama. That wasn't a perfect football game,
No.
you think, by any stretch. Particularly, Georgia's lucky they haven't dropped 2. You want to take that into the SEC?
All these teams are flawed, Billy.
LSU, Mizzou. Your questions about their defense, and they haven't really been tested. You can go up and down this list. Tennessee, fortunate that they got by Mississippi State this week. You go up and down. There is not a team, including A&M, that they're a work in progress. So to me, your question each week is this team improving or regressing? And I think, without question, this team's improving. Now, what they're not improving on from Notre Dame till now is the penalties,
Yep.
and that's something we talked about a lot yesterday. I don't want to belabor it, but they've got to get. You're not going to survive that many penalties. There weren't a ton of mistakes. There was one massive one that almost changed the game, and then there were a couple missed field goals, and they weren't chip shot field goals either.
They're 50.
But, yeah, so I mean, it's not your kicker that struggles from 50 plus, really from about 45 plus, missed 250 yarders. I mean, that I think the only unexpected in this football game that was like, because you knew Auburn was going to play tough defense. Had they not called a ticky-tack penalty there at the end, this game should have been around 30. The A&M's penalties and a couple missed field goals kept it from being like, quite honestly, a 30-33 game. And when I watched the football game, that's what it felt like the gap was between the two teams. I heard Auburn was really good against the run. I mean, Blueprint Brent.
He gave us a blueprint.
I guess Blueprint Ben is his name Ben Arbuckle?
Mm-hmm.
Blueprint Ben kind of tried to give us the blueprint on how to run for 55 yards against Auburn and make us all believe that they had this great run defense. Blueprint Ben Arbuckle gave us the blueprint. You want to run for 57 yards? Here's how. And A&M said, no, you know what? We don't need your blueprint. We'll just borrow Brent's blueprint for defense. We're going to do our own offense and run for 207 instead of 57. Anywho, I thought that was a big positive too for A&M, was to get that ground game going like that.
Hopefully we'll hear something from the blueprint.
Jay-Z will weigh in next.
A little hove. Right now, if you're looking for real peace of mind when it comes to your money, check out Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. They're an independent fiduciary serving clients all across Texas. They have no sales pitches, no commissions, just honest financial planning and investment management. What really sets them apart is the over 9 CFPs, a CFA, a CPA, all on staff, and they take their credentials seriously, and they work tirelessly to help you build a future that you can feel great about. Go to paragon-adv.com or give them a call directly, 979-693-3907, 979-693-3907 to schedule your free consultation today. It is Paragon Financial Advisors. Integrity, expertise, trust, Paragon Financial Advisors. Hey friends, David Nuño here for Prize Picks. They're back on TexAgs, prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to get $50 once you play in $5 lineups. And Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Football season's here, basketball coming up, baseball, you name it. You go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs and start having some fun watching sports, making some money on there. And you can play Prize Picks in over 40 states, including California and Texas. Remember, they'll give you $50 in lineups once you play $5 lineups on Prize Picks. And they have the new thing. It's called It's Good to Be Right campaign, and they're kicking off the upcoming NFL season with their bold new campaign, It's Good to Be Right. The seasonal long push celebrates the thrills of getting it right, from the perfect prediction to winning your Prize Picks lineups. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. I think this is your buddy, Hudson Westbrook, in the background.
I didn't hear it.
Yeah, I like Hudson Westbrook.
I do too.
TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. We got to try to fit in 2 segments here over the next 13 minutes, Billy. So how about this topic that I brought up at the start of the hour? Every team's got things that they're working on. We know about the penalties. There's things, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see, and this hasn't really been a problem until this game, but finishing drives where you don't have to kick 3, you can get 7. There's a couple opportunities there that I wish they would have finished with 7 for obvious reasons. Auburn, where would you rank their defense in SEC from what you've seen so far? Would they be in the top third?
Oh God,
Or they're a good defense. How about that?
Yeah. I think I would say that. I would say they're a solid SEC defense, or better. I think with their lack of offense, as the weeks go on here, they're just not going to be able to sustain it. It's just they're going to be 3 and out too many times. They're going to lose the field position battle too much.
Yeah,
and they're just not going to be again like A&M yesterday said, I don't want to hear about your great run defense. We're going to line up with a veteran offensive line and one of the best backs in the SEC, and we're going to run for 200 on you. And that's without really unleashing our QB run game at all either, because we don't have to. So I don't think, this defense is like anything. I want to give credit to the Aggies for moving the ball the way they did, but I don't think it's it. You said top third, right? I would think there'd be 5 defenses better than this in the SEC, but I think it's top half.
Okay.
And maybe even a little higher. Like they might be, but I just don't. Maybe in a different world where they had a better offense, it would look like it. Yeah. This unit's going to get worn down, and that's what really would have happened yesterday. Like there was a moment in that game. So A&M missed 2 first-half field goals, and that game should have been 19-3 at halftime. Let's say you split 2 50-yard field goals, although one of them, I think, well, yeah, not halftime. That was the third quarter where you got bumped way back, and then yeah, he missed that one, right? Yeah, you got bumped way back there and missed it. So to me, if I'm looking at just the way the game went, you hit that field goal to end the half, and you go up 16-3 at halftime, right? Right, 16-3. Then you get the ball, and A&M goes right down the field. And if I'm looking, I want to look up to be exact the yard line that they got to before they started going backwards. So here, you take the ball to start the third quarter, and you go 5 yards. You go 8 yards. You go 18 yards to Ashton Bethel-Roman. You're at the Auburn 43. You go 19 yards to KC Concepcion, and you're at the 24-yard line. You have gone 5, 8, 18, 23. Okay, you're carving them up. You've come out. You know what you're going to attack. You're attacking it. You're eating them up, right? And then you get Le'Veon goes 6 yards. So you're down to the 18-yard line, and you get called for holding. And you go back to the 34. So instead of 2nd and 1 from, actually it was 9 yards, 2nd and 1 from the 15, you're at the 34, 1st and 20. So the drive's essentially killed. Then Besantis and the guy get into it. The second guy gets flagged there. So now you go back to the 49. They went all the way. And then on the 49, you complete another 20-yarder to KC Concepcion. And then you get the unsportsmanlike conduct. So they really, and then in the next play, you go, okay, let's get back into field goal range, 12 yards. So listen to the gains on this drive, and you got no points on it. Your plays were 6, 8, 18, 19, 9, 16, 20, and 12.
What a drive.
And you missed a 49-yard field goal. It's crazy. Like, so just not shooting yourself in the foot and execution, you'd have gone down and been up. Say you kick that first field goal at 16-3. You go down to start the third quarter, 1 drive in, the game's over at 23-3. That was what should have happened in this one. And so, again, that's just an example, but it's probably the single biggest example of why that game wasn't completely put away very early. But what I look at is I go, just how close they were to taking a respectable SEC team. They're not a good one. They're going to probably finish 6-6 or 7-5. A respectable SEC team with talent and hope, because they had a lot of hope a week earlier going into Norman for this team. And you could have just put them away, literally one drive into the third, like you do, like a Utah State or somebody like that.
All right, we'll hit a break. Short segment on the other side. Daily Company is a family-owned, licensed company that offers HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and generator services that's available to you 24/7, 365. When it comes to HVAC, they'll take care of your thermostats, your refrigerant leaks, your furnace failures, and your seasonal tune-ups. You all need to be doing that right around this time of year, by the way. Plumbing, you got the leak repairs, the clogged drains, the water heater installation, maintenance to keep those pipes in top shape. Electrical wiring, outlet repairs, upgrades for safety and efficiency. They'll take care of your generators, too. If you need a generator, they'll set it all up for you. If you've got one, they'll make sure it's ready for a power outage. You can check them out all over Bryan College Station. They're also in Houston. They're also in Austin. Upfront prices with no surprises. Contact the Daily Company at 979-260-2020. That's 979-260-2020. Or visit them at godaily.com to experience the daily difference. Let's talk a little Snaps clothing. David Nuño here, and I love wearing Snaps clothing everywhere. I've got the flannel on right now. You've seen me in the Tailgater collection with the A&M gear. It is fantastic. If you see me around town with my sons, Christian and Cruz, they've got a bunch of Snaps gear. When they have big games for Consol, they wear nice clothes, so they wear their Snap stuff. And I'm telling you, with baseball season here, let's all kind of go looking stylish and fit to the games there at Olson wearing the Snaps clothing. As a reminder, they are the only official licensed Texas A&M Pearl Snaps maker out there. Their Tailgater collection is built for game day with breathable, moisture-wicking fabrics to keep you comfortable while you rep your Aggies in style. Now, whether you're watching the game from home or maybe you're in attendance, you're tailgating, whatever it may be, you got to make sure you head to snapsclothing.com to see everything they have to offer. It is fashionable, it is awesome, and you're going to love it. As a reminder, the final segment of the program is brought to you by Double Dave's. That's in an hour, but right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggieland since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com, and your favorites are on their way. And as a reminder, they are not open on Mondays. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Ella Ryan, I'm sure you got a text or two for Billy before we hit the break.
Yeah, I got one from Matt in San Angelo. He said, was the biggest problem overall the trading of TDs for field goals? And if so, how do they change that? And will it cost this team a win or two if they don't?
Biggest problem was penalties.
Yeah, that's it. Any team. So what you're assuming is that this is where I have a problem with early season, like overreaction stuff. You're assuming that so A&M quote unquote traded TDs for field goals. At the end of the half, they didn't. They were trying to get into field goal range, right? That one was different. They did on a couple other drives there, and it was penalties. We just talked about one. The other one was a TD, an actual TD wiped out. So there's two right there. But yes, if you trade TDs for field goals every week, it will cost you games. You will lose football games. That's not football rocket science. But also, we're a week removed from a game where A&M, I think the only field goal they attempted. How many did they attempt there?
Nick
41.
Nick gave me a stat.
It was a long field goal right at the end of the half, and then one, I think, was it a couple more? And they weren't trades. You're 1 week removed from a game where you scored 41 points against a top 10 team on the road. So, yes, if they continue to trade touchdowns for field goals, it will lose them a football game. That's assuming the defense is not making the other team trade touchdowns for field goals. So it might lose you a football game. If you do it every week, it will eventually lose you one. But what if they go back to Notre Dame offense every week? Why can't they do that? It's too early to tell.
10 for 10 heading into that last game in the red zone. 9 of those were touchdowns. We'll hit a break.
Yeah.
It's TexAgs. All right, we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. A couple of stats from Luke's notes that I wanted to bring up because I just think they're just to put things into context. A&M has more 100-yard receivers in 4 games this season than they had in 13 games last season. In 4 straight games to open the season, Craver had 122 against UTSA, 114 against Utah State, 207 against Notre Dame, and KC had 113 from Auburn. So already in the first 4 games of the season, more than they had all of last year, Billy.
Yeah, I think, look, that passing game and the receivers, and we're watching the games knowing, like, wait till Reed and those receivers start connecting truly over the top. They've hit some deep balls. They've had some big gainers. I think you saw a deep connection at Notre Dame from Reed to Concepcion. The one to Craver was more, catch and run, the long play. And then you saw a deep connection. It was actually Miles O'Neill to Craver against Utah State. So those are going to be more and more consistent. That's just something that it's going to take, more, just take your shots, keep taking them. And Marcel and those guys are going to connect because they've got to be so respected on breaking off routes and what they can do after the catch on something that they catch underneath 20 yards that they're going to consistently keep blowing by guys. And it's not just those two. Bethel Roman can certainly do it. Bussy can do it. So you're going to see more and more of that. And once Marcel really gets into a rhythm of hitting them, good night, Irene.
By the way, I know a lot was made of the 3rd and 1 play call. I want to highlight a play call that I thought was amazing. The touchdown to Mario Craver that didn't count. I love that play. And I think Marcel also on these quick throws, he's really good on the quick decisions.
That was a beautiful throw. It was right in front of me, and he just lasered it. Touchdown, game over. Again, I go back to, and I didn't have any kind of, I had the throw out there, like it is what it is. You sit there and you go, are they playing to win? That was a play to win. I think that was we need a yard here. Yep. I think they're going to throw that pass. I still run Moss. That's what we all think, including me. But you whip that thing over there to Bussy and you think that play's there based on their defense. And if you think we get this one block, it's a house call and the game's over. I do think that's playing to win. And then the bad side of that play is you probably think, well, it gets blown up and we kick a field goal. And then we go up at the time, what was that? We go up 16-3, and the game's probably over, right? To go up 13 in the early 4th quarter, the way that game was going. So I think normal worst case is that. But you needed a missed block, an errant throw, and the receiver to tip it up in the air, and the guy make a great play to blow the play up and just so happened to be there and run it back. So the whole thing happened, worst case scenario, obviously. That's akin to fumbling the handoff and the guy, that play is thought to be almost a handoff. Now it could get blown up. It can get blown up and be incomplete. It can be blown up and lose 4 or 5 yards. And again, you kick the field goal. So it wasn't this preposterous play. If it was incomplete, they might have gone for it on 4th and 1. If it was complete for a no gain, they might have gone for it. It was thought in their heads to be, that's a running play. I would always prefer line up Le'Veon and run it, but the defense certainly dictated not doing that. Sometimes impose your will, but
I kind of wanted them. I actually told OB in the press box, I wanted them before the play was called. It's like, I hope this is where they do a zone option, a zone read with Marcel. I thought that would have been right. But look,
thing with the zone read, though, sometimes that's one of those running plays where you can lose 3 or 4 yards.
You absolutely can. Yeah,
I would say, whatever. The reason the play was so bad is it was just a disastrous. The whole thing had to go down that way, right? So my thing was at the end of the game, I thought was a really interesting series was you get the ball back, and I want to hear Elko. I wonder if he'll talk about it today. So you have a situation where they've got 3 timeouts and They had 2 or 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning. I think they had 3 plus 2-minute warning. So you were going to run a play timeout, run a play timeout, run a play timeout, and the 2-minute. You needed a first down minimum if you would have got it on like a 3rd down, or 2 if you would have got a quick one, minimum, to end and win the game. And they went run, 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 even on 3rd and long. And I'm wondering if that was, hey, we had thrown a pick earlier in the quarter, offense, the pass, things were a little spotty. We'd given up some sack. We gave up a sack and a forced fumble that we were fortunate to recover. Our defense was what was winning us the game. Let's punt, play field position. Maybe if it had been a field goal, you would have thrown it.
Yeah.
If a field goal would have tied you, maybe you threw it there to get the first down and keep your defense from having to go back. But I think I'd like to hear Elko's thought. Look, these guys really haven't scored a touchdown through 58 minutes. We're going to punt it, make them go the whole way down the field versus risk a turnover here and play it ultra conservative. Because to me, I was going, you have to throw because you're gonna run off almost no time if you don't get it. I could have seen if they ran for 7 on first down, then you run. But when it was 2nd and 3rd and long and they kept running, knowing it's timeout, I think that was the head coach going, we're going to win this game on defense, period. It's our best side of the ball today. It's their worst side of the ball. I think that was probably what went through his head there.
Luke had another stat. Continuing on this performance, the Aggies defense limited Auburn to 177 yards with a 3.3 yard per play, which was the fewest yards allowed in an SEC game for A&M since 2015.
Crazy.
When A&M held Vanderbilt to 148.
That is absolutely nuts, and because this Auburn offense has too many players. Like, you can say what you want. You can go blueprint Brent Venables. And so blueprint Brent gave up 88 on 3 catches to Cam Coleman. Cam Coleman had 18 yards against the Aggies. They did a great job of tackling, led by Torian York. Those 2 cover guys were exceptional. Even the only play they had over like 15 yards the entire game, you could make the argument that it was intercepted. You could make the actual argument that Will Lee pulled that ball away from him before they hit the ground. So, I mean, look, and then to hold a team to 1 yard in the 4th quarter is incredible. Here's what was my favorite part about this football game and this whole performance, okay? Auburn gets the ball down 16-10, right? This one hurt, okay? This was an offensive drive that hurt. You're up 16-10. You get the ball with 10 minutes, or you're up 13-10, right? And you get the ball with 10 minutes left. And you go down the field to almost midfield, and you're 4th and 1, so you have to punt. Auburn gets it back. They're down 3. They go 3 and out. 3 plays, minus 4 yards, okay? Tremendous defensive stop with the game on the line. 3 and out, minus 4 yards. Next drive, you get the ball, you go down, you kick the field goal. You're only up 16-10. So Auburn gets the ball back a second time to go down and I say win the game. That earlier one would have been take the lead. Now you're getting into win the game territory. 2 minutes and 41 seconds left. 3 plays, 0 yards. So now you're at 6 plays, minus 4 yards with the game on the line. You're up less than a touchdown. Then comes that drive on offense we just talked about. Auburn gets the ball back again. It's crazy. Their drive started at 2:41. Their next drive started at 1:48. So you trot them out there again. 4 plays, 3 yards. So now you go. So that is what? That was
11
that
plays,
was
1
3
yard.
minus 4, 11 plays, 1 yard. 11 plays minus 1 yard, actually. 3 drives with the game on the line. 11 plays they combined to not gain a single yard. And in fact, lose yardage. So that was incredible defense in the clutch, in a clutch moment. That was as clutch as that A&M drive to go down and win the game at Notre Dame. This is the exact thing on the other side of the ball.
What has been better than you expected this year? I mean, I think the wide
Nothing.
receivers. I mean, the wide receivers are. I thought they'd be good. I didn't think they were going to be this caliber of good, but I thought they'd be good.
Sometimes we're living in an age where every time half the time they lie and say they've like got us on something, or everybody wants to point out the wrong, and even sometimes our own fan base when they get frustrated. What these guys are doing isn't surprising. 200 yards in a game is surprising ever. I mean, how many A&M receivers have ever done it? It's a short list. But yeah, I mean, no, I've been. Tell me if I'm wrong. I've been saying these two guys are like truly elite
since they got here.
Yeah. Since they were in the spring, during the summer, during camp. I've been saying.
You said Marcel.
So Marcel's a very improved quarterback throughout, especially the summer. I wasn't saying it as much in spring. Throughout the summer, I was absolutely saying that. Said Des Ricks would be one of your most improved players on the team.
He is that.
It's not, saying Le'Veon Moss is healthy, he can go. This is his timetable when he'll be back. It's what happened. None of this is surprising so far. I thought they could win or lose a close game at Notre Dame. They won it. I worried about Auburn. I thought it would be a tough game coming off the bye and based on their defense, and it was. Shouldn't have been, but it was. Yeah, and I also said, the other thing I said is that I thought if they made it through September undefeated, I would change my record prediction, and I would think this team's going to go 10-2 and reach a playoff. And that was before I watched a month of Texas, before I watched a month of South Carolina, before I watched a month of LSU. Now I think Mississippi State gets tougher. I think that
Missouri's tougher.
Before I watched a month of Florida. Missouri's tougher. I think that Missouri game is really tough. Again, I don't want to overdo them.
We'll see who they are in
Their big
November.
events have been Kansas and South Carolina, who they fell behind 14-3. And by the way, both of those games, I think both of them were at home, weren't they? Or were they in St. Louis against Kansas? Whatever. Yeah, can you read that far?
Yeah, it says Kansas. It doesn't say. If it was
Kansas was at home for them.
Kansas was at home, according to Nick.
So both those games are at home against the juggernaut Kansas and against South Carolina team that's struggling. They got Lamallier.
I knew that was
by
coming.
Vandy. Yeah,
I knew it was coming.
Just got pounded by Vandy. So Missouri looked, but you watch them play and you go, okay, that
Ahmad
offense.
Hardy looks
that
legit.
offense is going to be tough to slow down and stop. Missouri looks better. Mississippi State looks better, and they're coming here this weekend. But teams that don't look as good as I expected, even though I thought they were overhyped a little, Texas, Florida, LSU, and South Carolina. So, yeah, I will. And you know who looks better than I thought they would? Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Notre Dame. What they've done the last couple of weeks, it's like, okay, all we talk about, anyone in the SEC, all these experts that are telling you and me and everybody else that Venables did the blueprint. I don't even know who it was, but they're dead ass wrong. They're the same ones that are telling you how great the Arkansas offense is and Taylon Green is. And for Notre Dame to hold them to 13 on their home field, if that's a great offense, then what's the A&M offense that went to South Bend and put 41 up? Let's just keep it let's keep it a buck. Let's keep things consistent when we're trying to praise one and not the other. So, but A&M's getting plenty of praise, and I think.
But do you agree with this, Billy? A&M's schedule, I think, is more difficult than I initially expected, but more manageable in those hard areas. Meaning,
yeah, what do you mean?
I am not completely. There was a time where I was like, "There's no way they're going to win in Baton Rouge." I'm not saying that right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think Texas is vulnerable. I think Missouri is better than I expected. I think Florida can beat you on any given day because of that defense. We'll see how they look in 2 weeks. Mississippi State.
See how they look this weekend
against Texas.
Their defense, I'm telling you, it's banged up too. It's like there's a lot going on there. So Listen,
Mississippi State's better.
Listen, I think it's easier than we thought.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you this, and I think this weekend's game is much tougher than we thought. This weekend's game to me and Missouri to me were two games, to go along with what you're saying, two games that when I saw that schedule come out and I saw what Mizzou lost and I saw what Mississippi State lost, less Mizzou because drink's good, it's on the road, and they were heavy portal. You kind of see it. Both those teams are way better. And those were games that I would have written as W's. And I don't do that a lot in the SEC. It's not often. I typically barely want to do that in these Arkansas games. But those were two that I would have written as wins. And now, yeah, I think they're going to win this weekend. It's going to be much tougher than I thought. And then looking before the season expected. And same thing with Mizzou on the road, which that looks and feels like a toss-up type. With that said, David, I think the schedule's way more manageable than I thought. And here's something. If I said keep it a buck, if you want to be fair, go look at the top 10 right now. And look at I don't know what the AP, look at the coaches poll top 10. How many top 10 opponents currently do you think A&M plays on that schedule?
Yeah,
I'm asking. She can look it up. Yeah, look it up. I mean, I'm asking you to guess.
Oh, how many they're playing on the top 10? 3?
1.
That's it?
1. Notre Dame's no longer there. Now, the only team in the top 10 on their entire schedule
right now,
including games they've played, is Texas. You know how many Texas plays?
1.
4.
Oh, they play 4, really? Okay.
Texas, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and who's the fourth?
Georgia.
And Georgia.
Okay.
So I said keep it a buck.
Yeah.
Be consistent. I've talked so much about the Texas schedule and what they've drawn, and as we're a month into this season, and a lot of that can and will change, and at the end of the year will determine schedule strength. But now you look at it right now, and the way all these teams have played. Now, I happen to think...
They go to Starkville too, right?
I happen to think Notre Dame on a neutral field beats Georgia if they were playing on Saturday. Okay? I happen to think Notre Dame on a neutral field beats Oklahoma. I don't think they would Ohio State. I think that would be a hell of a game. But point being, as the rankings go right now, Texas A&M's only top 10 team on their schedule happens to be Texas. Meanwhile, Texas has 4 of them. So,
do you consider Oklahoma? Are they going to be yes, the stats will say they're probably a top 10 team when they play, but the whole Mateer situation kind of changes that.
Oh, they're not.
Game.
Yeah, if Mateer doesn't play, Texas isn't drawing that up. My point is this. The Aggie schedule, you have an opportunity here. No one would say it's weak. You'd be an idiot. There's LSU sitting just outside of that. Notre Dame's going to, I'm just telling you, it's not going to be long before they're back in the top 10. Yeah. I think anyone with a clue can see that coming. They'll be back in. I don't think LSU will get back in there, but they could. You've got, who else is up? You got Missouri. Hell, with Missouri's schedule, if they win one game, there's one kind of toss-up in between here and A&M, I think, for them.
Is it Bama?
Bama or Vandy, yeah.
I think they have a tough stretch right before A&M. But yeah.
Yeah, is it tough or is it?
It's SEC
I do
tough.
think, well, now Bama looks tougher, right? So, but Missouri's going to creep their way at some point into like the top 10 or 12. There's Mizzou. So they've got who? They've got
Bama.
Mm-hmm.
At Auburn will be interesting. And they've got at Vandy.
I think Bama and Vandy will be interesting. Let's say they split those. You might be playing a top 10, top 12 Mizzou. So the schedule is nothing's easy in the SEC, almost ever, unless you're Texas last year. But right now, like, here's an opportunity if you're A&M. And this is what I said last year, not just about the Aggies, but even about Texas. Don't apologize for it. Go out and take advantage of it. So your first 4 games in SEC play are going to come against unranked teams. Now, Mississippi State's one play away from being unbeaten in ranked, so you better not forget that. But unranked Auburn, unranked Mississippi State, unranked Florida, unranked Arkansas. When could you ever, and I know, like, man, I'm not a coach, so I can sit here and say this. I'm not, if we're looking at a schedule, I will say, yes, Auburn's got a really good defense. Yes, Mississippi State is a rejuvenated team that should have beaten Tennessee. They beat Arizona State. They one play away from being ranked. Arkansas on the road and Bobby Petrino and all the chaos he's performing right now, it feels like it's building up towards him to try to get that big home win in his return. And then, obviously, you talked about Florida, all that talent that the Gators have in a desperate situation. So there's challenges in each of these, yes. But at the end of the day, how often can you start SEC play with 4 unranked teams, 3 of those games coming at home? It's rare. It's an opportunity to build a ton of momentum and then to go into Baton Rouge against a team that I've said all year is a little overrated. They're good. They're top
15.
20 team,
Yeah.
top 15. They're good. But it's not, in my mind, they are in no world, and you're not going to play a national title contender. So, like, this is an opportunity for the Aggies. Like, go and take it. And I think that's what Elko's got to be looking at right now is his team go, man, if we're not, what do we look like without these penalties and some of these mistakes? What do we look like? Like, if we can clean this up and continue to improve defensively and continue to have our QB improve week to week, what does this look like versus what's in front of us? It's an opportunity right now. Like, you're trying to build a program. You're trying to build, we're year in and year out. Texas A&M's in the playoff conversation. They're a top-tier SEC team. They're what people consider a top 10 program. That's what Elko and every coach that has been here has tried to do. That's what, whether you're Signetti at Indiana or DeBoer at Alabama, it's what everyone's trying to do. But there's also the here and now. And while Elko's building this thing to last, and I don't think he was looking at, hey, year 2, we're going to go make a playoff run or go to Atlanta and win the SEC. I mean, those are always goals for everybody. But he's trying to build this thing for longevity and to last and turn A&M into a power. But you look up 4 games into a season and you go, I knew we could be pretty good. We might actually be really good if we can do these couple things. And I'm looking at the schedule and damn, man, there's not a game on there that I don't look at and go, my football team can win that game if we get them to continue to play up, which, by the way, they played up against Auburn, like, mentally. What were we worried about? Were they going to come out ready to play? Right. They did. By the way, I thought a disastrous penalty that should never have been called when you talk about teams showing up ready. They take the first drive of the game, right? They go down touchdown. On their second drive, on A&M's second drive, which was it third drive? Might have been their third drive of the game. Third quarter, in a quarter here. It was Amari gaining 19 yards out to what? Out to the 40. So they're on the 21, 2nd and 3. He goes 19 to the 40, and they call a bad holding on Naboo. I thought it was a terrible holding call. Amari was past him. You grab, and what it didn't even look like a holding call anyway. So instead of having the ball at the 40, up 7-0, and on the move again from your own 14,
you go all the way back.
You go all the way back, and it goes from you go back to a 2nd and 10, and they don't get it. So that, to me, that was you're moving out to midfield, and you're scoring a field goal or a touchdown on that drive to go up 10 or 14-0. That game might be an absolute blowout. So, anywho, I thought watching that game, like A&M, they came to play.
Yeah.
They had the right energy. They had it on defense the whole game. There was no post Notre Dame letdown. They got derailed, as we said earlier, 100% due to penalties.
Headquartered right here on Highway 6 in College Station. We're talking about the Rollo Insurance Group. They have community values, and they're an independent agency that's here for you, not the shareholders. Their team provides objective consultation across all of their insurance lines in Texas and beyond. Join thousands of Aggies who have trusted Rollo Insurance with protecting what matters most. I'm one of their clients. I know several people here at TexAgs are. When local matters hit home, like severe weather or regional economic shifts, Rollo Insurance understands the impact firsthand because they live here too. Their independence means that they can recommend solutions from dozens of carriers based on what's best for you, not what's profitable for them. That's why so many local families and businesses have made Rollo Insurance their first call, because the difference is real. Call them up, 888-44-ROLLO. That is 888-44-ROLLO, or go to rolloinsurance.com. That's rolloinsurance.com. And we're back. Lunch with Liucci, almost like a brunch with Liucci, to be honest with you. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance.
I'm having some fun in the. Well, I'm not. We're having some fun in the Twitter mentions right now. You got a bunch of like douched out Longhorn burners. Probably the education of a peanut, not having not. Maybe they went to Texas. I don't care. They're just.
Have you met anybody who?
It's amazing what people will say behind an account. First of all, you're scared. Not of me, just scared in general to talk like that to people. Secondly, it's amazing what people will believe if it fits.
What they wanted to believe?
If it fits what they want. It's incredible, like what the mind can convince you of someone.
I tend to think most people who do that
are sad
and jealous.
Oh, for sure.
Jealous of something, right?
Yeah, and I know one of you guys, I know who you are, and in no world would I trade anything I've got for what you've got. In no world. And that's not even like me saying what I've got's great. I'm saying I think your situation starts with an S and ends with a T. Pretty bad.
Have you ever met somebody who has a burner account?
Yeah.
Have they ever explained the why behind it?
Yeah, it was an Oklahoma guy. He was saying I was too mean to Oklahoma. I didn't give them enough respect as a program, which is also weird because it's one of the programs that at that time too was undeniable. And that one didn't end well for that person. But
anyway,
yeah,
I'm going to read you this one before we hit a break because we're already time for a break. William Gillespie, where'd it go?
Billy Clyde.
William basically wants to know if here it is. Nuño and Billy, do you think the game was called super tight because of what happened? Why did I talk like that?
Super tight.
Billy, do you think what happened in Norman? That was my AI. No, it wasn't Louis. That was AI.
Oh, that guy on AI. Every time you hear that voice of that guy.
I know that voice.
You know whatever's next coming out of his mouth is just a lie. It's like,
that voice
these three things that David Nuño did after
and they always
A&M's loss were why. So
they always use a thumbnail of somebody who's not in the video too, just to get you to do it.
Yeah.
All right. So he wants to know if we thought the game was called extra tight because of what happened in Norman. Potentially.
I don't think there was some edict handed down like some people would think. True, full-blown conspiracy. Like, hey, get Auburn this win. But man, I do think it was called tighter. I mean, that guy that threw that flag on that player downfield, he's the same one that tried to throw the flag on the long Reuben Owens run. They might want to look into him just about why he sucks so bad. It's not like conspiracy, like, hey, why are you so terrible at your job and we're paying you to officiate these games that have, all kinds of stakes and money hanging in the balance. And you're over here throwing flags that the head of official is coming over there and picking up on a long run that led to, did it lead to a touchdown or field goal? But that was a field goal one. But you're over here doing that versus, and you're the same one on the other side of the field that you threw the illegal downfield very late, almost after he had crossed the goal line. You decide to throw a flag on a guy that was a half yard past your little imaginary box. That was strange, but I just think that was just bad officiating. Look, there is a reality, and I said this yesterday. A&M got a couple of calls go their way, and I don't think they weren't bad calls. You could go watch; they were takedowns. I think Chappelle maybe on one of them. Somebody got held. 2 long Auburn plays. One was a really key one there in the third quarter that would have not only kept a drive alive, but put Auburn in at least field goal range, give them a new set of downs as they tried to score a touchdown. That got called back from holding, and that long Jackson Arnold run up the A&M sideline got called back on the hold. Both were blatant. Both were thrown very early. You knew the plays were coming back. But remember, we don't see a lot of those around here.
Yeah.
We've been complaining about that, and rightfully so, for a long time. So I just think the refs were flag happy. Auburn got flagged 10 times. Now, a higher percentage of theirs were undeniable because they were pre-snap, more like what A&M was dealing with at Notre Dame. but there were 23 flags thrown or 23 penalties accepted. So there might have been a couple of like decline penalties. Probably 25 times they threw flags in that game. So I just think it was a bad officiating crew that was overdoing it.
Got to hit a break here. You know my buddy Chance McClain? You've met him.
I do.
Yeah, Chance is great. So I wasn't able to do this on Friday. I'm kind of doing it now, but it doesn't really work. He sent me a text on Thursday. I had to leave the show early Friday, as you guys know. And he sent me a text on Thursday. Hey, David, instead of doing my commercial on Friday, just talk more football. His exact text was, yourheritagefilm.com has chosen to sacrifice this commercial to help ensure the Aggies' victory over Auburn. That's Chance McClain.
Okay.
So I'm kind of doing it now. Should have done it on Friday. Maybe we'll do it again. But he was like, just talk more football. I'll be happy. He does documentaries. Check out yourheritagefilm.com. That's the commercial. That's it. And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. The Sam Pittman era is over. Who do you think will end up? Who do you think? I mean, I know people are saying Rhett Lashley. I don't know if I would take that job.
I wouldn't. I would not. I mean, they're openly complaining about their lack of commitment there to the sport, and it's almost like they've decided to go the Kentucky blueprint and go, basketball, and say we're going in. So I would be super nervous about that.
You think they call Jimbo?
I bet Jimbo would go for that, but I doubt it. I mean, problem is right now, if you went Jimbo, would you not just go Petrino and keep that fan excitement? And I
guess we'll see how this goes over the next few weeks.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, I think, there's rumors that I think it's a no-brainer if you're them, and they'll probably screw it up. But there are rumors that my guy Dan Mullen wants it, who's 4-0 at New Mexico. I mean, at UNLV right now.
That'd be a good hire.
Why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't it? Look at his resume. Look what he did at a similar place like Mississippi State.
And he wasn't that bad at Florida.
He wasn't. He had some good teams at Florida. So to me, and again, we sit here and we think in our heads, oh, we don't want that. We don't want. Well, I mean, they're like any other SEC team now because you don't play them every year. Mm-hmm. You play them 2 out of every 4 years. You go to visit Fayetteville once every 4 years. This is no longer the team that you go, man, we don't want them to be good too on top of it because we have to play. No, it's not that way anymore. So,
and every team is flawed and good. We're just in a different world now.
Yeah. So even if they get good, it's not. Look, no. Here's the thing: if Arkansas gets good, somebody's going to go down. It's just the way of the world. So you can't worry about that. I saw it differently when you're playing them every single year. Hell. You might want Arkansas to be good because Texas has to play them every year. But Dan Mullen would be, I think, a good one. I think a great one would be John Sumrall from Tulane, but I've always talked him up. Is that his best option? Depends, depends on how Tulane's season goes versus what his stock looks like. But he's a hot name amongst young coaches. So there are guys out there, but if you could hire Mullen, I know Barry Odom's a guy that was there and they loved what he did defensively. He's been a head coach at Missouri. I don't know, man. If Dan Mullen's attainable and you've had the recent history they've had. To me, he's a
no-brainer if you can get him.
You've had the recent history they've had. Why not take that shot? That would be mine, and I wouldn't have to look.
Do you think Petrino's a legitimate candidate?
No, I think he'd have to do quite a bit because he's got a long. They're what?
A long way to go.
Are they 5? They're 5 games in, right?
Yeah,
5 games in, so he's got 7 games to show it.
By the way, I was looking at Ole Miss. Is this right? They've already played 3 SEC games.
Yeah, they started super early.
So that
with Kentucky.
What a head start for them.
Yeah, and so that means they've got an extra cupcake in here.
Yeah.
Whereas most teams have one more cupcake. For most of them, it's going to be in November. They've got an extra cupcake. And look, they played LSU now, so let's give them. And also, they beat the brakes off. Of speaking of Tulane, they pummeled them. Tulane's not. I mean, they're a quality G5, whatever we call them now, G5. I don't even know what we call them, but they're a quality that level program. And that game was 45-3 at one. The final was 45-10. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they were up 45-3 over. That's impressive as hell. And then beating LSU. Who was the third conference team they've played? I know
they played Arkansas, and they won 41-35.
Yep. Yeah, and they really, honestly, so Ole Miss is fortunate that they beat Arkansas. They had a fumble there. Arkansas was driving to win that game, but they're 3-0. They played Kentucky, they played Arkansas, and they've played my suspect LSU. What does Ole Miss's schedule look like? I know they have to play Georgia again.
They play Georgia. They play Washington State. They have a bye weekend, though. And then it's Georgia, OU, South Carolina, Citadel, and Florida and Mississippi State.
Okay.
That's a
Well,
potential
hold on.
playoff team, man.
That is a playoff team, David. Read those to me again.
Washington State, at Georgia, at Oklahoma, South Carolina, the Citadel, Florida, and at Mississippi State.
So they're going to beat the crap out of Florida and South Carolina at home. At Oklahoma, at Georgia, and at Mississippi State.
Yeah.
If they go 1-2,
They're in.
Well, I'm going to say something real quick to that but if they go 1-2 in those three, now what I'm going to say is there's a lot of teams we keep saying that about, right? A&M, Ole Miss, they don't play each other. So if A&M and Ole Miss both go 10-2, we're like, okay, they're in.
Who's got the better resume?
But the way this SEC is shaping up, A&M can beat Missouri, and Missouri can go 10-2 because they don't play Ole Miss, and A&M and Ole Miss don't play. So then if you got those three, plus whoever comes out on top of Bama and Georgia, or maybe it's both of them. Like, we're not talking about Texas because they haven't looked good so far. They've got one loss.
They're fine.
They could lose three. I mean, they got to go to Athens. If they don't win that, that's two right there. So we talk about OU. So maybe it's the winner of OU, Texas. I'm just saying.
There's going to be some chaos.
There could be 4 teams in the SEC 10-2 or better. Do all 4 get in? That's why when you see things happen like Tennessee and Mississippi State, I know that we don't think of Tennessee as anything. You want Mississippi State to beat them. When Arkansas is driving to score on Ole Miss and you don't think you care, you want Ole Miss to lose that game because right now, if Tennessee had lost to Mississippi State,
they're out.
We could usher them out of the equation. If Ole Miss had lost to Arkansas, we could sit there and go, okay, they still got Georgia. That's probably, that could be 2 losses, any one more, and they're out. And they play OU, so whoever loses that one's out. So these games that are close calls, and people were looking at Auburn and A&M, they should have been thinking the same thing. As the Aggies punted to Auburn and they got the ball, the whole SEC should have been going, God, I hope these guys drive down and beat them.
Yep.
Because there might be a situation, because even Vandy. Like, I'm not thinking Vandy. But if Vandy beats Alabama this weekend, then you look at their schedule and go, how do you get them to 3 losses?
Let's hit a break here. We'll come back with a final short segment on the other side as TexAgs Live. And we're back, TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's final segment of the program. We got about 3 minutes exactly, Billy. Got to give you a timer. We go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Ella Ryan. Sorry, I just like to say it just in case.
DePaul said, outside of a bad Florida team, this would be the wildest SEC East since Jay Cutler played for Vandy, if it still existed.
Well, by the way, do you think Florida can semi-turn their season around?
No, I don't believe it.
So Napier's done too.
I think so.
Okay. Because I mean, they got Texas this weekend.
I think Hugh Freeze in Auburn. I think he's going to go at best 6-6.
At best, okay.
And I mean, let me say at best 7-5, likely 6-6. As you pull that one up, look at their next two. Do you see them in any world?
No, I don't. Maybe Missouri.
Maybe. Yeah, Missouri, if they're on the lower end of what we think. I think they're going to lose their next two. And I think they could certainly lose to Vandy, who they lost to last year. I think they'd beat Kentucky, and I think they'd beat...
they'll lose to Bama.
Yeah, they're going to lose to Bama. So, yeah, I think...
But isn't that funny, though, Billy, how bad Bama can look 1 week and look so good against Georgia? And then Florida State, I don't think they looked bad against Virginia. That was a great game to watch. But Virginia took it to them, right?
That's why early in the season it's hard.
Yeah.
And so you look at the teams, like who's doing what consistently. So in the case of Bama, they stunk it up in August. They've gotten better and better each week. You know, you could see that one coming. I think I picked Bama. By the way, just so you know, I don't know how I did you start mixing in spreads and we get a little more dicey, but I think on the picks with Amanda this week, I was 9-1, just for the record. That's a cool niner that I dropped on her head. So I'm doing good on those. But I did pick Bama in that one, and that was to win outright. So I think I picked them with the spread. You could see it coming. They were getting better and better. Georgia's an interesting case study, aren't they?
Could have lost the week before.
Georgia could have lost. Really, I mean, should have lost to Tennessee, and where would their season be right now under Kirby Smart to be 0-2 in the
Texas
SEC?
on their schedule, and
I mean, now again, if you're writing Georgia off, you're a fool. But they were just factually, they were that close. Their one deep shot over the shoulder, sliding catch in coverage from your quarterback that's not. He's better known as a runner than a passer on 4th and 6 away, or a Tennessee missed field goal away from being 0-2 in the league right now. So it's that kind of year. It's that kind of year in the conference. Georgia may win the whole thing, and they're that close right now to being 0-2. So it's wild.
Quick question. Is Lane Kiffin the coach at Ole Miss next year?
No.
5.
I don't think
4,
so. I think he
3,
goes to Florida.
2, 1. We'll see.